Hello everybody, welcome to Digging with Dan, with your host, Daniel Schneider. My friends and coworkers recommended that I start maybe a YouTube channel or something to showcase my hobby of digging for gemstones and all sorts of interesting places. It's a very fun, rewarding hobby, a lot of hard work, takes you to some interesting places. We're out here today in Plush, Oregon, near Plush, Oregon, I believe. Very far off the beaten path, just past the California border into southern Oregon, digging for the official Oregon State gemstone, the sunstone. And I will show you a little plate here of stones that I found last night after we pulled in. And today my dad and I sifted all day from about 9 to 5 through piles of ore. These are sunstones. You can see they shine pretty nicely in the sun. This big beautiful one right here, found this last night, one of the first ones I found in about an hour. Over 100 carats. Not entirely sure because my jewelry scale only goes up to 100 carats and it maxed it out. I believe it's just a little over 100, maybe less than 125. The thing with these stones is usually, I believe you get about 15% yield if you try to facet them. It depends on a lot of things, the quality and the clarity and the whether or not there's fractures inside. This one's got a little line on it, but it looks pretty clear through, so I think it's in good shape. This is how most of them look. They are just kind of a peachy amber color, yellowish. They do look pretty beautiful when you facet them. A lot of people, especially with the bigger ones like this, will carve them into really interesting shapes and trinkets. It's a little bit of a softer gemstone, so you can do some carvings with it. I'm not too skilled at that yet, but what you're really looking for, these aren't as valuable. This is a big one, so hopefully it'll have some value if I get it cut. And I don't do faceting myself, but we've been doing the gemstone digging a little while down in California, out at the California State Gem Mine, digging for bonitoite. We got a guy in Clovis, Scott Forrest, that has done some amazing work cutting and faceting our bonitoite stones. But yeah, these straw colored ones aren't particularly valuable unless they're big like this. What you're looking for, I don't know if you can see it here, but there's some colors in some of these. Little pink sort of colors. They get a lot more valuable if you get really deep reds, and they come in greens. Some of them have this amazing schiller property. This is one of my favorite ones that you got today. You can see some good color in there. See if we can get that schiller. There's a metallic copper flare to them, and that's from copper platelets. All these stones formed in ancient volcanic lava flow through this area, I think 13 or 14 million years ago. The sunstones crystallize inside of the lava, and then after that the area was flooded by a lake, and eventually it dried up and the lava flow kind of started to degrade and the sunstones kind of pop out. Actually, that big one there, the 100 plus carats, found that last night walking about 100 yards out there into the sagebrush, just on the surface of the ground, scraping around. I found a little spot that had some little ones. Thought there might be some more there. Scraping around the surface, about 1 or 2 inches below the surface, and seeing this one laying on the ground. I don't know if I uncovered it from, couldn't have been more than 1 or 2 inches deep, or if it had just been sitting there the whole time I didn't see it. But you can see, as you can see, there's not much out here. Actually, I believe we're at the Spectrum Sunstone mine. I believe that this mine is actually in the middle of the Bureau of Land Management parcel. There's a 2 mile by 2 mile, 4 square mile parcel. You can basically, for free, you can walk out into the sagebrush as far as you want to go, up to a mile or two, and you can camp there. If you're brave of heart, you can just start digging a hole. And most of the good stuff is in the far reach areas, and you gotta dig down a few feet, 4, 5, 6 feet maybe, to get to the lava flow. But there's a lot of stuff on the surface. This one I found was right on the surface. Give you a little tour of the mine. My dad and I are here. It's one of his first adventures, gemstoning. There's my dad right there, filming a video. He's coming back from the shower. The accommodations here are pretty sparse. This is the only mine that has running water, flushing toilets, and showers, which sometimes, which isn't saying much. It's a gravity-fed system. We'll probably get over to it in a minute. The water pressure on the shower was about the same as like one of those water pick devices that you floss your teeth with. A couple little streams of water, enough to rinse yourself off after a day of digging. My dad and I did it's a $300 option for 2 days of digging for 2 people. They just keep bringing out piles of ore. They dig out big bucket loads with these kind of excavators. They'll drop it off right in front of you. And there's some little sifting trays. I'll get to those in a minute. And just sift through it. There's little hoses with weak water pressure. You can rinse it off. And you just look for the glistening, shiny rocks. Obviously they're called sunstones. The sun helps you find them. They glow in the sunlight, especially those copper schiller ones. It's a pretty quiet place out here. It's really peaceful, beautiful. The stars at night are incredible. Last night, before I left, there's no cell phone reception out here, no electricity. Got my phone charged enough to record a video, but the stars are amazing. Before I left, I went online and found out the routes of the International Space Station at night, because out here you can see everything. And last night we watched twice from the north up there, watched the space station come into view up here, about 2 or 3 minutes, sank down towards the horizon before it disappeared. It was pretty cool. Wave at the astronauts out there. And the Milky Way galaxy, the galactic core, was just all the way overhead like a rainbow. You've never seen the stars so beautiful. I have a new pair of 25x magnification binoculars. Put them on a little tripod to stabilize it. We looked up at Jupiter. It was up over there, and you can see 3 or 4 of the moons of Jupiter. It's amazing out here. Not for the faint of heart. A lot of critters. It's eerily quiet. This is the loader run conveyor belt. This is one of the premium options here. For $200, they will run it for 1 hour. They dump tons and tons of dirt in there. I think it's like 6 tons of dirt. And it's rinsed and filtered, runs by on a conveyor belt, and you just stand there and pick the stones off. We saw a couple people today that did that. They did pretty well. You get your money's worth, especially if you take them home and facet them, make jewelry, sell them. There's some big ones, some colorful ones that come in all sorts of colors, reds, greens. The bolder the color, the more valuable they are. Some of the people digging these pits here, that's the hard way to do it, but some people like digging it fresh out of the dirt themselves. We tried to do it the easy way. Up here, you see the teepee. They have a couple teepees here you can sleep in. Nothing in them, just dirt floor. They got a little fire pit. There's a couple of cabins. I believe it's $30 or $40 a night. But if you're paying for one of these paid digs, then they will let you stay there for free if you make reservations in advance. These are the screening trays and the little hose piles right here. This guy was digging a pile. He didn't finish it. He left a little early today. This is our pile. We did the 2-day dig. They keep bringing the piles of dirt out, piling them up. This was our third pile. We didn't quite get to the bottom of each one. They kept bringing another one out. They were pretty good about knowing when we needed some more. The third pile was our best. We had to stop around 5, getting really tired, but we got some really nice stones. Actually, let's look at it. Get down near the sunlight. You want to look into the sun, look for any glimmering, fiery stuff. These are all kind of covered in dirt. It's a little hard to see. Maybe out there. I don't know if you can see anything, but a lot of fun, a lot of work. We found, you saw my plate of gemstones. My dad had a little bit smaller plate. Some of those were from the ones I found the night before. I went out for an hour or so sifting out there in the fields. But yeah, I'll just show you the bathroom area. They got quirky sense of humor out here. I get it. It's hilarious. Gotta go. Here's the gravity-fed well. Bathrooms over there. And they say flushing toilets, but you gotta fill up a bucket of water to dump in the tank, because the tank doesn't always flush. Very primitive, but good people out here. A little quiet. Owner doesn't talk much, but I imagine it's interesting prospect having randos come onto your land and tear apart your property looking for valuables. But you respect them, they respect you. It's kind of the code of the West. There's the office. They got some beautiful sunstones in there. Really affordable too if you want to buy one for some jewelry. I think I was mentioning Tiffany and Company had claims out here in the early 1900s. They were talking about this. They first found the gemstones here and thought it would be the Plush diamond, after Plush, Oregon, the city nearby, and didn't quite pan out. It's hard to market them. The supply, obviously not like the supply of diamonds. Diamonds are everywhere. Well, they only come from certain areas. It's a tightly controlled market. Probably one of the most overrated stones out there, but diamond is forever, I guess. That's what they tell you. But the Plush diamonds didn't quite work out for Tiffany. They sold them off their claims here in the 30s, maybe as late as the 50s. And they still have standing orders with some of the mines here. I think there's about 4 mines right here. These are all in the middle of the Bureau of Land Management land. They were actually predated the government purchase or acquisition of the area around it, so they allow them to stay here right in the middle of the public collection area. There's placards telling you where you can and can't go when you're entering into a private claim. These private claims, a few of them do fee diggings for the public to come in, or you can just camp out in the public area and dig. But you get what you pay for here. By paying those fees, they will make it easier for you. Excavate the stuff, dump it in front of you, let you sift through it, run it through the conveyor belt. It's one of our landmarks out here, the old Army Jeep. It's where we kind of turned off to cut through over to our digging area. Really beautiful, quiet, a little eerie if you're not used to being off the grid, not having cell phone reception, electricity. But like I said, this is the only mine I think near here, especially for public access or fee digging business, that does have running water and showers and flushing toilets. Barely. But yeah, tomorrow we got another day of digging. I may do the $200 belt run. I don't know, that seemed to pay off with people there. Hopefully we can take some of these stones home, have them faceted, make some jewelry, give them away to our friends and family, or sell them. And I will post some more, show you what we get tomorrow. It's raining out here and these dragonflies just showed up all over the place. I don't know if you can see them there, but we figure there went one. You must follow under the clouds where it's raining to get water. Been trying to figure out how anything gets any water out here in the desert. A lot of critters, figure out how everything survives. You must follow around underneath the rain clouds. Pretty cool. Here's a family out here doing the belt run. We just finished ours. Got an hour, 200 bucks. Bit of an investment, but much faster and easier than digging all day. Got a big bag, big sandwich bag, stuffed full of stones, all in about an hour. I was up near the front, and my dad was near the back. I grabbed some of the bigger ones. He didn't think he was finding as many. It's probably because I saw him first, but I paid for this one, so he was just helping me collect the stones, get a break from digging all day. Still a bit of work, kind of anxiety inducing. They move by pretty fast. I feel like an old I Love Lucy, and then working on the Bonbon factory belt. They're flying by, you have trouble seeing them on this bright white belt. They rinse them off, they come by. Definitely get a lot more stones for your money. Alright, so these are the sifting screens we've been going through the past 2 days. We're winding down now. About the end of the second day, getting tired. Already did our belt run. It's pretty overcast right now, a lot of clouds in the sky, so it doesn't really help you find the sunstones. They show up sometimes better when the sun is brightly shining down. Usually so you can even hold the screen up to the sunlight afterwards to see things that you missed. So you usually take a shovel full of dirt from your pile. They bring fresh piles over with the loader bucket and throw it in there, sift through it, and look for the stones. We'll sift through a couple of these real quick, see if I can find one. Like I said, it's harder without the sunlight. Some of these trays, there's one right there. It's kind of that's a good chunky one. You like them kind of glassy, you hold it up to the sky, you can sort of see through it. That's got a little bit of color in it. It's kind of like a little ice cube. It's actually a good size one. See the little pink or peachish color in the middle. Anyway, some of these trays we were finding a bunch. Some of them not so much. It kind of come in waves. Let's see if I can find another one here. That was actually, even if we don't find too many more in this batch, that was a pretty good one. Usually, sometimes you see the best ones at least the biggest ones. As soon as you start spreading them around, you could spend a lot of time going through the rest looking for the small ones, but they're not really worth a lot. You end up with a whole jar or bag of them at the end. That's all I'm seeing right now. Let me try one other technique. Got a little hose here, a little light water pressure. It's gravity fed well at the line. Sprinkle them. Again, in the sunlight, helps them shine. You can see them better. I think I see one right here. Let's see, right there. Most of them I get are these straw yellow color. Those are the common ones. Just have a bucket nearby, throw them in the bucket. There's one right there. Little ones. Most of them are small. Smaller than a quarter or a nickel or dime. Anyways, found a few there. I'm sure there's a few more in these dry trays. Keep going through them. Almost at the finish line. I'll show you what we got later.